Hello, Kate from Whutsy here, and we've got a great new trends report from Etsy about sustainable shopping trends. And there's been a ongoing news really from Etsy pretty regularly, I would say on a monthly or even bi-weekly basis of putting these trend reports in the seller handbook. I've been reporting some of them on the Etsy news. If you watch my live show, be sure to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss an episode of that. But with these trend reports, I think it's great to do their own video so you can come back and reference them later at another time. And this report dropped a few days ago on April 28th, and it's about sustainability and environmentally conscious Etsy buyers and what they're looking for. And what I love about these new trend reports coming from Etsy is they have hard data for us. It's not just speculative. They have the data to back up these trends, and that can help us really make some decisions in our shop. If we're trying to come up with a new product line, looking for inspiration, ways to update maybe items that were better sellers in the past and have kind of faded off, maybe there's ways we can incorporate the information they give us to bring those items back to the front of our shop. And anything else that we can pick up from these trend guides, we can use. It doesn't mean we have to change everything we do or rework all that we do. But if there's something that specifically hits your niche or your shopper base, you know your shopper base really well, and you see something in one of these posts that's like, oh, that would really stand out to my shoppers. Maybe I should do a test and try a product and see how it does. So we're going to go through this trend guide. I'm going to read it for you so you can just let it play while you're working, and we can discuss some of the bits and pieces that we find in here. I'll give my thoughts, and I would love to know your thoughts. So leave your comments in the comments below the video on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you see this, Twitter, tweet at me, Instagram, and let me know what you think of this trend guide. Are you seeing these trends in your shop? Are you selling some of these items and you're seeing a big increase or gradually over time? Are you thinking about incorporating some of these items? Let me know what you think. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start reading this article. Earth Month may be winding down, but sustainability is a year-round priority for Etsy. We are working towards reaching net zero emissions by 2030, and 90% of Etsy buyers surveyed said environmental sustainability is important to them. Since January alone, we've seen a jump in searches on Etsy for eco-friendly items compared to the same period last year. And that data about the Etsy buyers saying that environmental sustainability is important to them is according to a survey of 370 U.S. Etsy buyers fielded in February of 2020. Okay, so let's continue on here. If you're interested in sustainability as it relates to your business, but aren't sure how to translate that into your product line, read on to discover what environmentally conscious shoppers are looking for. We sourced the following trends insights by digging into Etsy search data and industry reporting. The year-over-year increases below were calculated by comparing search volume from January through March 2021 to the same period of 2020. Be sure to read Etsy's policy on listing products made from recycled content, okay? And that's interesting that they have a policy on that. So I might open that up, and if we have time at the end of the video, I'll go over that policy. And so we can look at this data and feel fairly confident of it not being that skewed, because we're looking at January through March of 2021 with the same period in 2020. Now we know that the big changes in e-commerce happened after lockdowns really became imminent, and that was in end of March, early April, for for it to be just across the United States, and then the world, I think, came a little bit after that. But so the data from January through March is not going to be as skewed as, say, data that came from, April and May of 2020, which you cannot look at reliably. And it's really important to note that if you're looking at your own shop data, you cannot look at any data from 2020, starting in April, all the way through, because it's going to be quite skewed to what would be reliable data. All right, so they're starting off with just diving right in. We have comforting cleaners. Once a dreaded chore, cleaning has become a source of calm for people looking to gain a feeling of control over their surroundings. And shoppers are coming to Etsy for eco-friendly fixes for all their cleaning needs, from bathroom tile to yoga mats. All right, so let's see. They have some great photos of products, and they have some more specifics pertaining to what people are searching for cleaning products. Sourced from nature, products featuring natural ingredients offer peace of mind, soothing scents, and sparkling results without the fumes. Refined design, aesthetically pleasing packaging that accents a buyer's home, elevates cleaning rituals, and helps products stand out from the mass market brands. That's a really interesting point that I think should be mentioned. And I'm glad that they mentioned this because, we all have the kitchen sink with the soap bottle, sitting next to the tap, and it's just sitting there. How often do we actually put it underneath? I think I leave mine just sitting there all the time so I can just clean dishes really quickly. But if that bottle was like really pretty looking and attractive, I wouldn't, it wouldn't stick out as much. It might be kind of cool looking and actually become like a conversation piece if I have guests over, which would be just bizarre, but so true. And the same thing within the bathroom. You think about it, if you have guests over, you have the guest bathroom, you kind of want to make it have that little bit of a hotel feel. You're getting these nicely packaged items for the bathroom. That's a very good point. So that either for eco-friendly or not, that might be an interesting direction to go in with some of these products. Let's continue on. Refillables, containers made to be refilled and reused, like pretty glass spray bottles, could score extra points with shoppers looking to reduce waste. Zero waste packaging is quite popular in beauty products. I think that's a great idea too, to kind of tie into that last point. And I'm really not going to talk, in length on every point, but when something jumps out at me, I'm just going to bring it up because I think this is a really good angle. If you sell your dish soap or cleaning product in a refillable bottle that is nice, that people don't want to throw away, like plastic, like a nice glass one, like they mentioned, and then you give them a little refillable refill container in the package, so they know when this runs out, with the information on the bottle, how to refill, where to go to get the refill. Then you can have that customer keep coming back, or get them to sign up for a subscription basis on your website or something like that for these cleaning products. Just add water. Mix-it-yourself tablets and concentrated solutions appeal to DIY cleaning goals popularized by social media. Bar soap and shampoo bars are also popular ways to do away with bottles. Made to last. Some shoppers are ditching disposable cleaning tools for well-made products like wooden dish brushes, washable paper towels, or compostable sponges. All right, the next section is reusable everyday items. When it comes to individual environmental impact, it's the little things and daily decisions that really add up. Help shoppers make earth-friendly choices by offering functional staples they'll never have to toss. So the first one they bring up is makeup tools. People are trading disposable cotton pads and face sponges for washable varieties made from cotton, hemp, or linen. There's an 87% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for reusable cotton pads. Menstrual products. We're seeing searches for washable menstrual pads increase as shoppers opt for reusable alternatives. Also consider other products geared towards moms and babies, like reusable diapers and nursing pads. 42% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for reusable cotton menstrual pads. Water bottles and coffee cups. Help shoppers trade throwaway plastic and paper drinking vessels for more permanent solutions like reusable ceramic cups, stainless steel water bottles, and glass straws. 100% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for reusable straws, and 364% year-over-year increase for reusable cups. Kitchen essentials. Food covers get an upgrade with linen and wax-coated fabric coatings that stay put well with the help of elastic. So 76% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for food covers. And BYO bags. Totes provide a waste-free alternative to paper or plastic shopping bags and are small enough to be kept in the hand for impromptu errands. Look to macrame and crocheted openwork bags to be the it style this summer. And a 55% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for farmers market totes. Okay, so this is a lot of great ideas in the kitchen end of things. And the BYO bags, I've got to say, I got away from that because my store wouldn't let me bring it in. And then no one announced that I could bring it in again, and so I feel like if you're allowed to have bring your own bags now to the store, then they should get that out there so that we know. Because the thing is, I don't want to bring the bag in and be carrying it around and then not be able to use it. So I don't even know where my reusable bags are at this point. But if you are in this lane and you know that now grocery stores are letting you bring your own bags, you should really get that information out there, either with YouTube channel or your Facebook or anything like that, and let people know. Repurposing and elevating found materials. Some of shoppers' most popular purchases on Etsy are made from salvage materials, such as reclaimed wood. And I'm going to say, just on a personal note, I love reclaimed wood. I love the look of it. And I have for years. I mean, I have been on the hunt for quality reclaimed wood, picture frames, all kinds of stuff for years, and for my artwork and everything. I mean, I'm talking back in early 2000, and it was so hard to find. Even on Etsy, it's just there weren't the people making stuff. There still is a good amount of people making stuff, but I'm telling you, there's just a total lack of this product availability out there. And I'm not talking about like in an affordable range. I mean, when you're looking for a reclaimed wood piece, if that's what you're shopping for, you expect to have to pay for that and for a specific look. And, it doesn't mean that you're going to pay an insane amount, but you're expecting to pay a little bit more than obviously the cheap plastic frame at Michael's. So, but I think knowing where the wood is sourced is so important. And I'd love to see more woodworkers putting that out there, even if it's just an option, All right, reused and rustic. This popular home decor aesthetic gained even more prominence recently as shoppers look to spruce up their living spaces and carve out home office setups. 105% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for reclaimed wood desks, 54% year-over-year increase for reclaimed wood shelves. Reclaimed yet refined. Elevate ordinary found objects to match your shop style by picking materials that fit your brand aesthetic. And embrace the craft. If the homespun look is more your speed, you're in luck. A homemade cottagecore inspired style is trending across categories from home decor to clothing and accessories. So here they're bringing up that cottagecore trend. So if you're in any kind of space where you're doing, will they say homespun or handmade clothing, any handmade textile designing, and any kind of home decor, you should do some research on this cottagecore aesthetic and see if that's something that you can, put some of your products in that lane and steer people who are searching for that look specifically, because this is going to be what younger people are searching for. I'm in my late 30s, and I'm probably never going to type cottagecore into a search bar unless I'm doing product research. But young people are going to, and they are going to be looking for this stuff. So if you gear your stuff and style and everything young, but you're still doing homemade, homespun craft looks for home decor and clothing, you should do some research on cottagecore if you haven't. Greener gifting. Over the last years, gifts have played a big role in helping people connect with those they miss, and it appears sustainability has also been top of mind. We've seen an 180 year-over-year lift in Etsy searches for eco-friendly gifts. And I think this is a fantastic point. If you can somehow incorporate a gift set, gift box, gift kit into your shop with your items, you should do it. Absolutely do it. There's gift kits. Every holiday, every gifting occasion are one of the top searches just in general on Etsy. So just offering that up as an option for your shoppers could really boost your sales. Natural candles. Shoppers are increasingly looking to Etsy for candles made from beeswax and certified non-toxic ingredients with appealing scents sourced from the outdoors. 176% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for environmentally friendly candles. So that's a very interesting keyword. Like I don't think I would necessarily search for environmentally friendly candles if I was looking for a non-toxic candle or all-natural candle. So that's very interesting data in my mind. And then I also think that candles is such a saturated category, right? So many people are selling candles, but I still think like the face mask category, though there's a lot of people selling them, there's still room in the market. So if your shop, a candle or a line of candle scents might fit in with your brand, and you can easily produce that and do, a one line of scents and get photos done fairly quickly and inexpensively, it might be worth just adding that and incorporating it into your shop. I don't think opening just exclusively a candle shop is probably a wise decision, but I still think there's room if you have an existing shop to add those products, and then looking for beeswax specifically and any other non-toxic ingredients in your candles. Mindful spa sets. The popularity of bath and beauty gift sets grew over the last year as people look to recreate the self-care experience at home or to give it as a gift. And earth-minded shoppers sought out sets with responsibly sourced packaging and ingredients like certified sustainable palm oil and certified organic coconut oil. 466% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for eco-friendly spa gift sets. Okay, and there it is. These spa gift sets are definitely a hot item. Eco-conscious wrapping. Interest in eco-friendly wrapping paper, gift boxes, and mailers is on the rise. Consider biodegradable packaging peanuts and unexpected materials like reusable handkerchiefs. 936% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for eco-friendly gift boxes. Okay. And I think that keyword, eco-friendly gift boxes, I don't know if I would actually think of like the packaging as a gift box. I would think that would be like a gift set or whatever. But please don't make packing peanuts. Oh my gosh, how much I hate when I get a package. It's just the worst. I mean, unless I had a garden that I could actually literally dump them in and rototill them in, I don't want them. I don't want to deal with it. I'm in an apartment. The last thing I want to do is fill up a bag with packing peanuts and lug it downstairs. So I don't care if they're biodegradable or not. Oh my gosh. Second use items. Consider giving products a second life with packaging that does double duty, like a candle holder with a drainage hole perfect for housing a plant. Read gifting and personalization trends on Etsy for more ideas. And I did a video on this gifting and personalization trends on Etsy. I believe that came out in March. So I have a video on the channel that goes back and talks about that. And of course, if you have any kind of item that can be reused or repurposed in a creative way, that's always a great idea to sell on Etsy. Power in the packaging. When it comes to environmentally friendly packaging, less is more. Minimize where possible by using the following strategies to ship your own products, and consider stocking sustainable supplies to meet shoppers' own shipping needs. Okay, because we know a lot of Etsy shops shop on Etsy, so you can actually create products that Etsy sellers are going to want, right? Biodegradable decoration. Try incorporating plants and flowers into your packaging for a rustic finish touch or floral flourish that adds charm but not waste. Recycling ready. Choose materials that are easy to recycle at buyers' homes, like paper and cardboard. Opting for paper stuffing and envelopes helps reduce the need for bubble wrap. Okay. And there is a 712% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for eco-friendly tissue paper. Very interesting. That's a very specific search term for sure to have such a big jump. And there is, so paper stuffing envelopes instead of bubble wrap. Well, any type of bubble wrap that I get from any other package, I reuse. I've never actually purchased bubble wrap, so it's just, I'm kind of just sending it out into the world every time I get it, which is one way to reuse. And they do mention that here, give packaging from the past purchases a new life by repurposing to ship new orders. And I do that all the time. These poly mailers, you can use them at least once again by just flipping them inside out and taping them up, as long as you're careful when you open your packages. So if I am getting a package for whatever, I'm always very careful when I open it so that I can reuse it. And the paper, when it comes to packaging, you really want to put a priority on making sure that your product or item you're shipping arrives safely. And if you can use recycled or reused materials, you want to do that. But if it's going to compromise the safety of your arrival of your item, then, you really want to make sure that you maybe are just using a part of the materials is for using recycled materials, and then the other part that just ensures the safety of the arrival of the item is, maybe reused or something like that. And then mindful materials. Try opting for materials that are made with some, if not all, recycled content. 319% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for eco-friendly packages. And ink alternatives. Cut down on printer use with alternative graphic techniques like embossing, or embrace softer shades and graphics that require less ink. And that's kind of an interesting point. I would never have thought of that. If you have a printer, you can't really use, plant-based inks. I don't think. There might be some colors that work that don't fade over time, but it's kind of important that if you're using just a regular printer, that, those graphics, that ink withstands time. But I guess, yes, using lighter tones and graphics that are more line art than filled in would, use less ink. Vying for vintage. Over the last year, many shoppers have looked to reduce their environmental impact and save money by buying pre-owned clothing. And many of today's top styles, heavily influenced by decades of yore, all eyes are on vintage originals. Be sure to check out Etsy's policy on selling vintage items. Okay? And here we go. This is great stuff. Forever furniture. Shoppers are increasingly looking to vintage home decor and furniture as well made sustainable alternatives to mass-produced pieces. 132% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for vintage rattan furniture. 70 styles. Pants and flares are back in favor as shoppers gravitate towards groovy bell bottoms and loud, cheerful prints. 231% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for flared jeans. Okay, well, I'm excited. My flared jeans from the late 90s, maybe I can dig those out of my closet and sell those. 90s nostalgia. Shoppers are eyeing minimalistic slip dresses and shrunken baby tees with lettuce edging. 476% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy's for vintage 90s dress. That's funny, but it was a like that early to mid 90s grunge style, that dress, like almost like a baby doll dress or sundress, was kind of in, and you kind of layered that with like flannels or a leather jacket or a jean jacket, something like that. It was kind of like a, you know, sweet versus rough edge thing. So that's cool. I always like that kind of style. Reworked clothing, a hybrid of vintage and handmade. This trend involves taking a vintage item and updating it with tweaks, like removing ruffles or shortening a hem to make it more current. So this is kind of a cool trend that I'm seeing some really talented, sewers and crafters do by taking pieces, and they find at thrift shops that are just like they're cool, but they just need a little improvement and reworking the clothing. And if you do this kind of stuff, you definitely need to get on TikTok and do videos about it, and hook up with Etsy on TikTok, and you need to check out all that stuff, because this is definitely a big thing on TikTok. I don't know anything about TikTok, but I know this. So I feel like if I know about it, then it's probably huge, because I am not plugged into all that kind of stuff. Upcycling. Clothing designers are incorporating vintage items and fabrics into totally fresh designs, like transforming quilts from yesteryear into fashion-forward jackets and vests. 254% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for upcycled denim. I would be really worried about transforming quilts, especially because that is an art craft in my mind, a quilt. It's a very Americana art craft, and to just cut it up and make something else out of it. I mean, yes, it could give it a new life, especially if it's, partially worn, rotten or whatever, but the quilt itself for me is a work of art, especially vintage ones that probably have a story attached. So I don't know how I feel about that, but you could definitely using recycled fabrics, make a quilt and then make that quilt into clothing. I would love to know what people think about that opinion on that. That's just my thought when I think of old quilts, Summer staples. Popular seasonal go-tos include once-loved mom-style shorts, graphic tees, crew neck tops, and sweatshirts. 285% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for vintage hoodies. Feeling inspired, we asked Etsy Senior Sustainability Manager Chelsea Evans for her main pro tip for Etsy sellers looking to sell more sustainable items. And she says, remember that if you advertise something as eco-friendly, it's important to back it up with facts. Explain what makes that item or materials responsibly sourced or friendly to the environmental market. And that's a very important point. I mean, if you're going to go through all this, I don't want to say trouble, but extra work to hunt for pieces and upcycle and create from recycled materials and things, you want to tell your story a little bit in your product description. I would put it probably near the bottom, and then also putting it in your about section on your shop, really talking about where these products come from, your process, and to really give that buyer confidence. Those particular buyers that are searching for these items, really would like to see data to back it up. And then they can wear the piece and get compliments and then tell your story as well. For more tips on baking, they meant to say, for more tips on making similar best practices into your business, read Weaving Sustainability into Your Brand Story. And that's just what I was saying. If you need help talking about the stuff, go ahead to this article, Weaving Sustainability into Your Brand Story, which is at the bottom of the link for this article. And the link for this article will be in the description of the video on YouTube, and will be below the video, so you can read this for yourself and click on some of these links. And there's a bunch of great comments here. People are really loving these ideas, maybe thinking about how to incorporate this stuff in ways that they hadn't thought for their product line. And so we're going to just visit quickly, while we're on the topic, the house rules for Etsy and their recycled content, okay? And we're just going to go over this so you can be clear what they allow if you're stating something is recycled. So you can make recycled content claims in your listing only if your items contain materials that have been recovered or diverted from the waste stream, either during the manufacturing process, pre-consumer waste such as steel, paper, or fabric scraps, or after consumer use, post-consumer waste such as plastic bottles, glass containers, metal cans. Okay, so it's important to know at what line in the production chain or the product life, I should say, of an item that your recycled content comes from, if it's pre-consumer or post-consumer. Tips for describing your recycled content. Be clear and specific about the amount of recycled content in your items. If your items are only partially made from recycled content, then specify this in the listing describing accordingly. For instance, you can say your item is made from 30% recycled materials. And figuring out the percentage, it might take a little bit of work, but once you figure that out and you have a process of making something and every time you make it that it's, 30% of the process is recycled materials, then you know that and you only really have to figure it out that one time. But these kinds of things give people, when they're shopping, peace of mind. Place your claims clearly in the listing description to avoid any confusion. Refrain from using broad or vague terms that have potential to mislead your buyers, such as environmentally friendly or eco-friendly. Okay, but like all the keywords they just gave us on the previous post, use those two phrases. So you want to use those in your text describing your item, just your regular description paragraph, but you also want to back it up with the percentage data. And you don't want to just make up numbers. You really want to be able to understand where stuff comes from and explain it. Various countries regulate deceptive environmental claims. The standards for recycled materials may differ for each country, and it's up to you to ensure that you comply with all local laws and regulations for your market you serve. We recommend you speak with a qualified expert for advice if you're making recycled content claims. Okay, so that's a very important point. If you make a false claim on the Etsy marketplace, Etsy isn't going to protect you. Okay, people can go after individual shops. Only ones that make the news are these lawsuits and things that go after Etsy as a marketplace, but they're not going to get anywhere in the United States anyway regarding current laws, because the shop is ultimately responsible. Etsy is just providing a platform for the shop. Okay, so you have to make sure you're compliant with any kind of regulations in your area. Recycled, reclaimed, and reused content. Be mindful of the difference between recycled content and reclaimed or reused content. Here's how you can identify these easily. Recycled content, when pre-consumer or post-consumer waste is used as a raw material in the manufacturing of new products, these products contain recycled content. For example, if you use polyester fiber made from post-consumer recycled PET bottles to make a t-shirt, your item contains recycled content. Reclaimed or reused content. Contrary to recycled content, reclaimed or reused content is not broken down by machine processing and then transformed into a new product. Reclaimed or reused content refers to materials that have been retrieved from their original application and repurposed for new use, such as reclaimed wood or repurposed vintage clothing. For example, you can strip old flooring from an old barn and reuse it as picture frames for your home, or cut your old set of pajamas and repurpose them as quilting squares. During both of these processes, there are minimal changes to the original materials, length adjustments, resewing, refinishing, but no recycling takes place. Okay, so I hope that kind of clears up any kind of issues regarding language and the definitions of these two types of, environment, eco-friendly content uses. Okay, so recycled is literally taking something that's been used or in the manufacturing process and breaking it down to its raw material, where reclaimed and reused is just taking something that exists and repurposing it into something else. Okay, so two completely different claims. So you have to be careful again with your wording, because using these words in the wrong place on your description page or in your listing titles and things could, have repercussions if that's not accurate to these definitions. And down here they have the standards and regulation for environmental claims. They have a guide here for United States, Canada, UK, EU, and international standardization for these environmental labels and claims. So you need to look at your countries and figure out, what claims you can make and you're allowed to make in these areas. And then if you sell to certain areas, like if you ship products to the European Union, would be my guess would be the most strict of all of these, possibly Canada as well, and use that as your basis. You want to go with the most strict as far as what countries you sell to and make sure you adhere to those. And then also, of course, the United States, where I think a majority of my listeners sell, you really want to make sure you're up to date on what all these labels and standards and language you're allowed to use is permitted in the United States. Okay, so I'll have a link to this article from Etsy House Rules. They're legal terms and policies straight from Etsy. So they really are very specific and tell us what we need to know when it comes to this stuff. So you can either update your current listings if you're not, being clear on what, claims you're making in your listings, make sure everything's accurate. And I just want to state this point because yesterday I did the Etsy News show, and that was on May 2nd or maybe May 1st. And they made it clear that Etsy is going to be cracking down on shops that aren't compliant with their policies. I mean, there's been a lot of press out there lately from news magazines and blogs and things finding questionable, illegal, or products against Etsy's own policies on Etsy and then putting it out there in the news. So this stuff is, they've announced that they're putting a lot of money and creating a whole new team, adding to their existing team for compliance and stuff. So you want to make sure if you're selling recycled or reused materials in products on Etsy that you are following their rules here so that you don't get flagged as being against any of sort of policies that they decide to all of a sudden monitor and take down. Okay, so just some friendly advice coming from me about that. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this video was helpful for you and gave you lots of ideas as far as the eco-friendly and sustainability trends. And be sure to give this video a like. It really helps me out. And subscribe to the channel on YouTube at Whutsy and hit the alarm bell so you get notified when I do a live show. And you can tune in live and chat and ask your questions and find out what's going on with Etsy and all the latest before anyone else. Thanks again and have a great day.